Hello, and welcome back to this unique special episode of Searching for Sheffields. It is December 31st, 2024, and we are about to start the new year, and I've had some thoughts lately, so I figured in this episode, we're not ripping anything, we're not opening anything, we're just going to have this fireside chat, this little introspective of my thoughts and future direction. So, grab a cup of coffee, grab a beer, and, this is going to be one of those, just getting stuff off my chest and yeah, so here we go. So earlier this year, I got back into the hobby. Reason being, it all pretty much started with Pat moved back. I have two best friends growing up, Pat and Brent. And Pat moved back into the area, and we wanted to get together and do like a old school sleepover, like people used to do as kids. And one of the things that we used to love to do is rip packs. So I was like, it would be cool to get some older packs, some vintage wax packs, and open them. And that kind of, if you know anything about me, I kind of dive in headfirst to things. I don't really dabble. And so so I got a couple of packs. That turned into realizing that, it's cheaper, it's more cost effective to just buy junk wax boxes instead of just random packs. So I just started doing that, and that led to, it'd be nice to have like one of each junk wax box from, the times I collected. And so I kind of did that. And then that turned into, that turned into, it would be interesting. And I started the channel. And I thought, instead of me just opening packs by myself, I would share them with whoever would be interested. And but that led me to the next step was, let's see kind of what's new, what's out there. And so I kind of started going down that road and had a lot of catching up to do, of course, because, been out since like 1996. And that leads me to today. So that's kind of been my journey this past year. And I'm at a crossroads. And I'll explain a little bit further what that is. So the hobby today, and this is just, of course, my personal opinion, it's an interesting one. Well, first of all, I feel like things are priced pretty high. And, it is what it is, but I think you have breakers, right? And the breakers, I just buy, I don't know what their business model looks like, but essentially they just buy cases and cases and just rip and then in hopes of finding, because it's really all about those chase cards, and those chase cards are like autos, one of ones, and that's where, like, I might bounce all over the place, so I apologize, but that's where I don't like it, because I see it's almost like if it's not one of these super rare cards, the other cards are pretty much worthless. Nobody wants them. And I see that. The reason I say that, and because I see that in a few different things. Like one, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The older players in the newer sets, like I don't even know why they do it, because you can have a Mickey Mantle, a Lou Gehrig, and they're commons. So what's the point? I don't enjoy that. I don't like that, and it's almost like just filler. And those great players should not be filler. So I don't like that. And I'm a part of. I actively look at things on eBay and on Facebook. There's a couple groups that I join, and I mean people just dump their autos, refractors, limited numbers for dirt cheap if they're not one of those star players. So it's almost like people are collecting the top 5% of the cards, maybe even less, then the rest of them are just essentially garbage. And, I think back to when I collected back in the junk wax era, and certainly there were your favorite players. But it wasn't about necessarily like inserts. When I started collecting, there were like no inserts, and then when I got out of the hobby, the inserts were definitely cool, and it was awesome to get an insert, and that's kind of what the chase was. And then if you got an insert with a star player, even better, you'd be on cloud nine. I don't know. Now it seems very. It's different. It's just different. Value wise, it's all about grading and getting a 10, and the price of between a 10 and a 9 is a lot. It's, I don't know. It's, don't get me wrong. Like I love the chase. I love, opening packs and for the potential of having that card. But at the same time, financially, it doesn't make any sense. Like for me, at least, cards are not cheap these days. And while it's fun to get a box once in a while, in the end, it's kind of like, what do you do after that? And that's kind of where I'm at. I kind of went through this, I don't know, you call it a bender or what, of getting, newer boxes, ripping packs, and I just don't have that. I kind of did like a reality check, and I don't really have that fulfillment. And that's unfortunate, but I mean, it is what it is. But I can't sustain what I'm doing. It doesn't make any sense. So, with all that, what else did I want to say about the current hobby? And I would be very curious to see what your all thoughts are, because I know the only other thing I read about is people comparing like junk wax era to this era, and think that's going to happen again. And in some ways, I see it. Like you can have one player, and they could have 40 different cards in one set due to parallels and refractors and inserts and subsets. It's just, there's a lot. And again, it's all the top certain percentages is what anyone cares about, and the rest just aren't. And it's just not a business model that I want. So I'm at this crossroads and kind of the future of what I want to do. So and this could change, but I think we're still going to rip packs. And I have quite a bit of newer cards, newer boxes that we're going to rip, and that's going to be fun. However, I'm going to say it, I'm not going to buy boxes of newer cards moving forward after I run out of my current supply, because that's where a lot of money goes, and it's just I don't get that fulfillment from all that. So you may ask, well, what do I get fulfillment from? And I'll give you an example. So I'm not getting out of the hobby. I enjoy this hobby. It's part of my childhood, but I need to figure out what makes me happy and what's sustainable. I think that's fair. And what makes me happy and what's sustainable is an unpopular side of things. So this is an example. This is a box, I guess. It's like a bag of haunted hoops. This is the current year, 23, 24. These are packs that have 3 cards in them. They were designed to hand out to Halloween trick-or-treaters. And nobody likes these cards. But I love them because of a few reasons. One, you can get them for dirt cheap. You can get these, this is 40 packs. You can get these for $10. If you find good deals, between 10 and 15. But, if you're good about it, you can get them for about 10. And there are some parallels in here. The inserts, they are very, very, they're not even inserts. They're harder to get parallels. And they're very hard to get. And so it's almost like these are like old school cards where you had the base and then you didn't really have anything else, but the ones that you could possibly get were very hard to get. And if you hit a good player on one of these really hard to get, I guess, parallels, it's a lot of money. So like the Wemby in this example is the chase card in this set. And for like the candy corn insert, it's like $500 if you pull it. And so this scratches the itch as far as opening packs, newer players, and without breaking the bank and still have a chance of hitting it big. This is the vein that I want to be in. I don't know how many other sets are like this. If you are watching this video and you do know of more, let me know, because this is kind of where I want to be. So that's an example. The other part of the hobby that I really enjoy, and this will continue, is if you follow along the channel, I had my Facebook Marketplace haul. And essentially, this is the things that I look for on Facebook are, one, childhood collections that somebody just wants to get rid of for cheap. You see like 90 Donruss and 89 Tops, and people want like $500 for a couple cards. But then you see other just collections and unsorted collections of almost like time capsules that people just want to get rid of. That is one that I love. Just kind of get into that, and I will continue with that because I love kind of just digging through, and it's almost like ripping packs. You just don't know what you're going to find. There's, maybe you find a 1990 Tops, no name on front, Frank Thomas. It's kind of like that kind of thrill, as long as the price is right. And the other is these newer card collectors that just are chasing these top couple percentages of cards, and the rest they don't care about. And so they need to unload them, so they sell them for very cheap. And we've experienced some of that as well on this channel. There's one haul that on that day of that Facebook haul pickup, I got 8 boxes of that, and we haven't gone through that yet, but we will. And then the bins, like that was a lot of that stuff was late to mid 2000s. But it was essentially the cars that the person didn't want, that wasn't in the top percentages, and I love going through that. I love sorting them. I love organizing them. I love looking them up, and potentially finding a card, maybe a player that wasn't the best at the time, and he put them in there, but now is good, and there's some good cards in there. So as long as the price is right, that's a lot of fun. It keeps me busy. It's just kind of that vein I like. So those are the two areas that I want to continue with as far as purchasing. So Facebook hauls of unwanted cards, essentially, or unknown cards, and the like the sets that are super cheap that nobody wants, like haunted hoops. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is we want to get back to the junk wax stuff. I have quite the collection of junk wax boxes, and have fun ripping them. And this whole rabbit hole of new cards kind of took me away from that, but I want to get back to that. So that is something that I will get back into, and I will continue this channel with a lot of those videos. Pretty much as soon as we run out of these newer cards to rip. So, what else? And of course, still searching for Sheffield. I tell you what, that's another rabbit hole. There's so many cards out there, but we will continue that slow burn of searching for Sheffields, no doubt. So, is that it? I think that's it. So I'll leave you with that. But what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are you kind of in the same boat? Are you in a different boat? Again, this is just my kind of retrospective, introspective of the hobby, where I am with it, and where I think the future is where I want to be. So, thanks for listening. I know this probably wasn't the most exciting video, but it's something that I feel like, on my channel, I wanted to capture. So, hope all is well. Happy New Year, everybody, and we'll see you soon.